It's a policy question that is above my Title X authority, Senator.
All right, well, let me ask you, let me shift direction. Look,
There's $200 billion in frozen Russian money just sitting in Europe. Senator Kennedy has a simple idea. Give it to Ukraine and let them finish this. Welcome to American hearings. Pentagon officials won't say yes, but they won't say he's wrong either.
my biggest surprise from the summit between Presidents Trump and Xi was how open and notorious President Xi was with respect to his insecurity about Taiwan. I mean, before, during, after the summit, he basically said, America, President Trump need to leave Taiwan alone. Taiwan is ours. And President Xi has this reputation built up by many members of our media as being this master negotiator. I found that surprising. It's understandable. America has learned how to fight again. And I'm sure President Xi is looking at what President Trump did in Venezuela and Cuba and Iran and the Sahel and Yemen. Be that as it may, Mr. Xi has demonstrated and telegraphed his insecurities. That gives us leverage. Doesn't that argue for us to go forward with an arms sale to Taiwan and others after it? General, let me ask you first, or Secretary, whoever wants to answer.
Senator, the portion of it that I would strongly and very vehemently disagree with is that in any instance where President Trump is, he would concede anything unnecessarily, and so I
didn't ask that. If you can't answer, tell me, because I don't want anybody to get fired. It just seems to me, I was surprised that President Xi was so obvious in his insecurity. He's worried about Taiwan. He's worried about America supporting Taiwan. If we want stability, we're not going to get it by being nice to Xi. We're going to get it by making him respect our strength. Don't you think that argues for us to go forward with arms sales to Taiwan?
Senator, I can say that under this budget, this $1.5 trillion budget, we will be in an even stronger position to
That's not what
defend
I'm
our
asking,
allies.
Mr. Secretary.
It's a policy question that is above my Title X authority, Senator.
All right, well, let me ask you, let me shift direction. Look, I don't think you have to be Einstein's cousin to figure out what we ought to do next in terms of establishing deterrence, but maybe that's just me. Is Russia our friend?
No.
Between Ukraine and Russia and the war they're fighting, who do we want to win?
Ukraine.
Okay. Isn't it a fact? Well, strike that. What's the most powerful army in Europe?
Sure, I'd say anywhere the United States soldier is.
I understand, other than the United States. What's the most powerful European army?
It's probably between Russia and some of our allies have some incredible armies.
Ukraine, isn't it?
Some incredible capabilities.
It's Ukraine, isn't it?
Sir, Ukraine has done an incredible job against an aggressor.
Don't you find it breathtaking, General, what they've done? They started with nothing.
I do find it breathtaking.
And they're producing 200 drones a day in addition to cruise missiles to reach into Russia. They've taken out 40% of Russia's ability to export its oil. And they started with nothing. I remember when all the experts, who are almost always wrong, so Russia's going to move in on Ukraine. They're going to roll in like thunder on a summer night. It'll be over in 2 days. And now Ukraine has turned the tide. Why don't we support taking those $200 billion of Russian assets in Europe that we have seized and getting that money to Ukraine. And let's win this thing, or at least get Putin into a position where he'll negotiate a settlement. Would you support that?
Again, Senator, my Title X authorities, that's a policy question outside of our lane.
I mean, it just seems so. I'm not talking about federal money. There's $200 billion sitting there. Heck, there's UK. There's $31 billion in the UK alone. France, President Macron, swell guy. He's always giving us advice and fussing at us. France is sitting on $22 billion. Why don't they give that to Ukraine? They'll use the money to buy some of our weapons. It's just sitting there. If we want to win, why don't we support taking the $200+ billion and saying, here, Ukraine, here's the money. Go whip their ass. You don't want to answer that, do you guys? I understand. I get it. I went over. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome back to American Hearings. Kennedy opens by noting how openly President Xi signaled insecurity over Taiwan during recent talks with President Trump, practically announcing his anxiety rather than concealing it. Kennedy's read, that's leverage, and leverage argues for moving forward with arms sales rather than backing off. The officials declined to weigh in, citing policy boundaries outside their authority. Kennedy doesn't push hard, he simply notes the missed opportunity. The Russian assets proposal is the sharper pitch. Ukraine has destroyed 40% of Russia's oil export capacity, starting from nothing. There's $200+ billion in frozen Russian assets across Europe, UK, France, others doing nothing. Why not hand it to Ukraine and let them finish the job, or at least force Putin to the table? The officials again defer to their narrow authority. Kennedy's closing line. You don't want to answer that, do you guys? I understand captures the limits of what military officials can say in open testimony about civilian policy decisions. Subscribe to American Hearings.